A very, very good morning, young people. Very good morning to you, viewers. Very good morning to aspiring entrepreneurs, current entrepreneurs, and people who are just interested in the entrepreneurship industry and who want to get a bit of knowledge to see, is it for me? Isn't it for me? And also entrepreneurs who want to refresh themselves and get sharper. Today is an exciting day because we're talking about pitching. My name is Natikule. I am an out-of-school mentor under the Junior Achievement Eswatini organization that goes around teaching different communities, societies, and individuals about how best they can pursue their entrepreneurship aspirations. Yesterday, we started the first day of the Yellow Care, MTN, and Junior Achievement Eswatini partnership, which is an online training for 2 days. We started with the basics. We went back to unpack what is entrepreneurship, how does one become an entrepreneur, what skills do you have to be an entrepreneur. We went all the way towards I'm so sorry, viewers. We went all the way to unpacking just what is a business plan. How do you make a business plan that speaks to you, that speaks to every component of your business aspiration? And how do you make a business plan that has the capability of winning funding? So we shared all that. We shared all the documents here. The feedback was amazing from the viewers, and thank you for really tuning in yesterday, because after that, tomorrow we're going on to the ground. Our first stop will be Manzini. We will be hosting the first leg of our regional workshops, where we'll now be looking at how you have been using that knowledge in terms of seeing how you can then now pitch to potential funders. Junior Achievement Eswatini and MTN Eswatini have 10,000 Madangeni in said capital to give away during these regional tours. And unfortunately, the deadline was the 4th of June in terms of submitting your proposals and business plans. But the interesting thing is tomorrow you will now have to pitch, sell your idea to the potential funders. And that means today's session means a lot, especially to those who may be pitching. But if you're not a part of that tomorrow, you still have an opportunity to pitch on the 19th of June. Junior Achievement Eswatini again will be in Manzini, looking for good businesses that they can fund with 10,000 Malangeni seed capital. But as I know some of you may say, oh, 10,000 only, I wish it was 100,000, I wish it was 1 million, so that I can have a huge industry already up and running. But from testimonials that we've had from many young people, we've discovered that the 10,000 is a good, is a sufficient amount just for startup, just to help you get off the ground, just to help you register, get everything in place, and then you can be able to really start your entrepreneurship journey. So ladies and gentlemen, today's topic is pitching, my most exciting and my most favored topic in the business world. I am, of course, a marketing consultant, and I was part of the Entrepreneurship World Cup 2020 as a mentor, as I mentioned yesterday, mentoring people in Argentina, mentoring people in Algeria, mentoring people in St. Lucia. And of course, the Argentinians made it into the top 25 in the top 100 countries. And what was exciting about that was that all the lessons that I was giving out were all based on pitching. How do you pitch your idea? They had already written their business plans. They had already done their financials. They now wanted a mentor to take them to the next level, to sell their idea. How do you unpack and sell your idea? A lot of people, you meet them, you ask them, what do you do? They find it hard to really unpack what they do and to sell their businesses. And it's not about confidence. It's just about being able to share each and every detail of your business within a very short space of time. That is what we'll be doing today. You have established the idea. Yesterday we were talking about ideating. How do you start an idea? How do you look for a gap in the community and in society in order to then start a business? We also looked at, now you have the idea. How then do you turn it into a business plan? And then from a business plan, how do you implement? And now you have the three. How then now do you sell it and get funding for it and get customers for it generally? So that is what we'll be talking about today, pitching to win. And we'll start at the very beginning. We can continue with our slides. Pitching to win. Pitching. What is pitching? We hear this word a lot in the business circles. They say, yeah, you must come over tomorrow to my boardroom and pitch your idea. And you ask yourself, pitch? The only pitch I know is Limbenjisi. And why would this business person want me to come with Limbenjisi to his boardroom? And then that is when you then unpack in your mind and remember that there's another word called pitch, P-I-T-C-H. Not the pitch for playing soccer, but this pitch is a verb. It's a doing word. So the basic meaning of pitching is throwing an idea at your audience, hoping to score a hit like baseball. I don't know, baseball is not as popular in the country, but you have seen this image or someone similar throwing a ball and hoping someone will hit it, or hoping that they will throw out that person out of the game. So basically, when you are in a business or you want to secure funding, you are like that gentleman with the cap. You are carrying the ball is your business, and you're hoping that you will strike some gold with that ball and somebody is going to invest in your business. So in the context of PowerPoint presentation, a pitch is a special type of a sales presentation. It's a special type of a sales presentation, and today most of our presentation and our session will be about how to eventually have that PowerPoint presentation. I do know that we are in an era where more people are preferring to do what you call to do verbal pitches without having PowerPoint presentations behind them. But when you're talking about a business pitch, something that involves figures, something that involves timelines, something that involves a lot of technical things, and something that also involves imagery in terms of showing what your business is all about. If you're going to stand in front of me and not show me a PowerPoint presentation and we're in a boardroom, chances of you being able to convince your person or your potential funder are very limited. Hence the reason that these presentations are very, very popular. These kind of presentations are very, very popular. We can move over to the next slide. Yes, what are the different pitching types? A pitch presentation is a short presentation. That's where we need to start. Before we talk about what the different types are. A pitch presentation is a short presentation in which you introduce your company, product, or idea to an individual or a group of investors, or even if you are called to JA to say, hey, come over, there's 10,000 emalangeni here, and you come and you speak about your nail company, you speak about how it will make money and how you'll be able to pay back that money that JA Eswatini would want to offer you through its partners. You only have a few minutes to convince your audience and attract potential investors. That is why you then need to plan what you want to say and say it really carefully and very clearly. And that is how you do it. And you do it by making a perfect pitch deck, as that image shows at the bottom. What are the different types of pitching out there? How do people pitch to investors? Can we go to the next slide? How do they pitch to investors? One of the most popular pitches is called the elevator pitch. So in an elevator pitch, what normally happens is that they describe it as an elevator pitch because they say, what would you do if you were to suddenly meet the chief executive officer of a bank, or you were to suddenly meet a multimillionaire in town who funds businesses all around the world, and you're walking in town and here is this person, he's walking outside KFC, and you say, oh my goodness, here's my opportunity. You greet this gentleman, he greets you and he smiles and he says, hi, who are you and how may I help you? And now you have 3 minutes or less to convince him before he rushes off to his next meeting. That is the elevator pitch. They make an example of it happening in an elevator. You are in a hotel, Hilton Hotel, Mbabane, and suddenly, boom, this wealthy person is standing outside the elevator, and you are also there, and now you're just the two of you in the elevator, and you have this opportunity to sell your business to him. Hi, I've seen you fund young businesses. I have a business idea. And he says, shoot, speak before I get to the 7th floor. Sell your idea within these 6 floors. That is why they call it an elevator pitch, that whatever business idea you have, you must make sure that you can unpack it within a very, very short space of time. And that just goes with your business just being within your system, and always being within just top of mind to be able to do it within a few seconds. So an elevator pitch should be a meaningful, brief introduction of your idea. Introduce yourself, your company, and your business idea. And your goal should be to make a brilliant first impression in a very few minutes. And then the very second one is the one that's happening tomorrow at FLAS, Manzini region. It's called the startup pitch or the business plan pitch. This sort of pitch allows you to set out not only your business idea or product, but your business plan also. So you unpack your whole business plan in a few minutes. Good figures and potential and future potential attract in potential investors, especially for startups. And then also the last one is called the speed pitching session. This is a session where you just called, it's almost like the elevator pitch. You just called in to an event where speakers have something like 5 minutes each to convince their investors of their idea. Again, it just calls on you to know your business in and out, even if you're to be woken at 3 a.m. and asked, what do you want to do as a business? You'd say it within 5 minutes. And then there's a very popular form of pitch. It's called the Pixar pitch. It is strongly grounded in storytelling. I normally see it during the Junior Achievement School Company Competition. Every year you normally find young students before they do their 5 minutes presentation, they started off with a story. This is Koko Ndlovu. Koko Ndlovu resides in a community with no access to electricity. Our company is called Electrical Genius, and we are here to serve the communities and provide a solution to Koko so that she can have lights in her home. And that captures the imagination of the person listening. Nowadays, all the best TED Talks, Apple keynote speeches, motivational speeches, even here at Bosco Skill Center or Tams George, and successful pitches use the storytelling principle to get their ideas across effectively. This is because stories matter. People want a connection. People want to relate. So if you talk of Koko Ndlovu, people think, oh yeah, I understand. When you say Mkulu Dlamini wants to send money from Egutseni to Mbabane, how will he do it? You are relating to the person, because they can imagine their relative who is outside the community in the rustic areas trying to send money, and then you say, here we are, we provide a solution. We had a new mobile telephone company, a contractor working with both networks, and we have a solution. So you start with the storytelling to capture your audience. These have been used since time immemorial to pass facts and knowledge from generation to generation. This kind of pitches, they evoke emotions in us. They inspire people to action. Because once you hear that this is a solution linked to your Koko or your Mkulu, you become excited and you say, wow, I want this as well to help my Koko wherever it is. And you can convey values. You convey virtues, humanity, and morals. Just speaking about a Koko or even a small child makes people want to action. So we can use storytelling when we're pitching, just to capture the imagination of the person listening. Very interestingly, here is now an example. Please beam the next slide. Here is now an example of a pitch. I've spoken a lot. Pitch, 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 pitch. But what is an example of a pitch? If you look at the storytelling elevator pitch, we have something, we have this company. This company, if you look at the left, there's something written problem. So this company is called the Montgomery family. We can say the Kule family is sitting quietly on their patio, which is a veranda. It looks peaceful, right? They spend the day lugging it out, spraying it down, bending over backwards, trying to figure out the setup. Tears were cried, sweat was poured, blood was shed. There were explicitives. The family actually is sitting quietly because they can't move and they are no longer on speaking terms. So this is an introduction, a storytelling introduction to the elevator pitch. A bit wordy. I wouldn't be moved by this one, but yeah, it is an example to share. So now this company says, Easy Furniture is here as a solution. We are on a mission to make spending time outside easy and hassle-free. Our fold-up, lightweight, and mold-resistant furniture is so simple you'll think there are pieces missing. So when they start speaking about the furniture being simple and lightweight and mold resistant, they are now talking about the differentiator. So now you can now see the structure of we'll go to the link after. You can now see the structure of a pitch. It has a problem, it has a solution, it has a differentiator of your product, and then it has a call to action. The call to action is stop into our showroom today. So imagine this was your pitch to, say, Junior Achievement Eswatini, and you are saying, you can start off to say, their family is like the Juju family. The Juju family furniture that folds up, lightweight, and is mold resistant. It's simple. And then your call to action, because now you're presenting to Junior Achievement Eswatini, your call to action will be different. Your call to action will be all about now, if you fund my company, I'll be able to reach all the communities in the country and make sure that they have proper furniture, and we will increase social fiber. My call to action to you, Junior Achievement Eswatini, is give me 10,000 emalangeni to set up my company so that I can reach out to more companies and make sure that they can have better relations with their clients, with their families, just like that family we had an example of. Can come back because I'd like to throw in a video now just to get us in the mood. Oh, forget. Yeah, no. I just wanted to introduce that video before it started rolling. That video will sort of summarize what we've learned so far in the first 28 minutes of the day. This is a gentleman who is into business mentoring, just like myself. He's just going to sum up how to pitch in an elevator, just like we've spoken about the elevator pitches. And then when I come back, things are going to get exciting because we are now going to move into this book. We spoke about this book briefly yesterday, and I do remember a very attentive young man or lady wrote on the comment section and asked, what is this book about? Who wrote this book? Because I mentioned this book in passing to say that there's a book out there that actually helps you to pitch to win. And it says how to present, persuade, and close the deal. It has 6 steps that unpack how whenever you're standing in front of potential investors, funders, and you want to convince them to buy into your business idea, what do you need to do in order
No matter what you do for a living, whether you work in business development, you're an accountant, freelancer, or entrepreneur, you're always selling in some way because you're always selling yourself, whether you're selling yourself in a job interview, selling your products and services, or even just selling your ideas and persuading other people to see things in your perspective. And learning how to communicate, persuade, and influence is one of the most essential skills when it comes to succeeding in everyday life. So in this video, I'm gonna show you one of the easiest and efficient ways to do an elevator pitch so you can start communicating your ideas much more clearly and get people to buy into your ideas. What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick Dang here. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, turn on notifications if you want to see more videos like this, and let's dive in. Now, to start off the elevator pitch, right? The very first thing you have to first understand is being able to pitch your product or service or idea in one sentence. I usually like to start an elevator pitch with a one sentence pitch so that people have an understanding of exactly who I am, what I do, and how I bring value. And the easiest way to do your one sentence pitch is to use this formula. I help X achieve Y by doing Z. Right? A very simple, clean, one sentence pitch where X is gonna be your audience, your prospects, people you are speaking to. Y is gonna be the value that you bring, and Z is going to be how exactly do you provide that value. An example of using this formula would be, I help offline brick and mortar stores create massive new revenue streams by selling their products online using paid advertising. Right? Very simple. So no matter what product or service you're selling, you want to follow that simple formula and just fill in the blanks so that people get an understanding of exactly what you do. And the next step of the elevator pitch is actually to tell a story, right? People absolutely love stories because it's a lot more engaging than just, talking about your products and service and the features. You need a story that people can identify with, attach to, and, get emotionally connected with your ideas. And the purpose of a story is really to make a complex idea or something that might be seen as complicated and making it very easy for anybody to understand and get the feeling of, oh, I get it. I totally understand what you do and why you bring value. Now, when you incorporate a story into your elevator pitch, it's not as if you're telling a story and then you're pitching. Your pitch has to include that story in it, and I'm gonna show you exactly how. So the structure of your elevator pitch is gonna be like this. You do your one sentence pitch, then you tell a story. And within that story, the first thing you wanna do is talk about a problem. You see, when you start a pitch with a problem, right, people love things like conflict and high drama, right? And when you're able to start with a problem, it gets people a lot more engaged because they're always wondering, oh my God, what's gonna happen next? So I'm gonna give you an example, right? So let's say I was selling advertising service, right? Online advertising services like Facebook ads and Google ads and things like that, right? And I'm selling to, let's say, brick and mortar stores who have no idea how to sell their products and services online, but they've rented a shop location, they're selling, their products there, and they're relying on foot traffic and people just walking by and walking into their stores. So I wanna get them online, but I need to tell a story on why they need to get online, okay? And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to start with a problem. So let's get into the pitch. One of my clients was just like you. He had an Action Sports Shops retail store, and his store was located in a prime location with a ton of foot traffic, right? And for years, people would walk by every day, right? Because it's a high traffic area, and walk into a store and purchase his products, right? And for years, he was absolutely killing it. However, when a mall opened up across town, where less people started to walk around this area, meaning less foot traffic, less sales. And because there was so little foot traffic, he was able to just barely make enough to afford rent. And because he was only relying on one source of traffic, meaning foot traffic, to generate revenue, and once that foot traffic dried up, well, he was just totally out of luck. And if this continued on, well, he would be out of business. Okay, so pause real quick. What I'm doing is I am talking about a problem, telling a story that's relatable to my audience, and I'm creating high drama, right? This guy was killing it, and then from there, foot traffic died up, and now he's not making as much money as he used to, and because the rent is so high, well, he's gonna go out of business. So the next step of the process is to talk about a solution, right? How am I going to fix this problem and, you know, tell this amazing story of how this guy went from going bankrupt to actually making more money again. So let's get back into the pitch. So he wasn't really sure what he should do, right? And he talked around, asked a few friends, and one of his friends recommended him to me actually, because he wanted another way to sell his product and services, because he wanted to sell his products online. And because he was already a reputable brand that people knew, it was very easy for me to come in, take his products and take his brand and put it online and advertise his products using Facebook ads and Google ads. And suddenly, you know, he went from being able to barely make rent to creating an entire new revenue stream and completely changed his business. All right, so pause right there. And so what I'm doing is I'm telling a story of how he was able to find me and what we did to change the situation so that he went from not being able to afford rent to actually expanding his business and selling his products online. And the next step after you provide a solution is to talk about the value, right? So why does this actually matter? Because it's not enough just to talk about what happened. You have to demonstrate, okay, why should someone care and keep listening to the story? So let's go into the value part of the pitch. The reason why this was so impactful was because at first this person was only relying on one source of traffic, and once that dried up, he was going to go out of business. But by taking his business online and advertising his products on different platforms from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Google, suddenly he had multiple massive streams of revenue coming in from different directions. So if one source, let's say Facebook ads dried up and didn't work anymore for whatever reason, he had a couple others that would still be able to help his business thrive. And that's exactly what I want to do for you. And then you just go into how you're going to specifically help them in their situation. So as you can see, within this pitch, what I'm really doing is one, I am first telling a story, talking about a problem, showing how I make this problem go away with my services. And then from there, I'm explaining the value that I provide and why exactly they should invest in working with me. Because it's not about just making money online. It's also about having multiple revenue streams so that if one dries up, you don't go out of business. And that's what business owners fear, right? Many businesses will fail every single year. And you know, if you're talking to a business owner, that they don't want to be one of them. And if you can help them create more leverage and create different ways to generate revenue, well, suddenly they are a lot more interested in your services. And this is very different from just telling people what you do, right? Because if I just came into a meeting and I just said, hey, you know, I'm gonna take you online, we're gonna generate all this sales and things like that, well, people may not be willing to listen because it feels like a pitch. It feels like you're just trying to sell them something. But if you tell a story and you first talk about a problem that people really understand and empathize with, and then you show the solution to that problem, now when you talk about that solution, people are a lot more willing to listen to what you have to say because you told the story and you got them engaged by first talking about a problem that they may potentially have. So when you are creating your own elevator pitch or your own sales pitch, all you really have to do is swap out your own pain, solution, and value and why people should buy with your products and services and your customer stories, and you're gonna be able to use this template successfully in your specific pitch. So with that said, that is going to be how you are going to craft the perfect elevator pitch. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, turn on notifications if you want to see more videos like this, and let me know in the comments what's your #1 takeaway that you got from this video, because
And we are back. I hope that just brings a bit more clarity into what we're discussing today. And just to do a small recap, we did learn today that there are different types of pitches out there, the most popular being the elevator pitch, because that is how brief it needs to be. Hence that video we just shared to just go over all the elements of an elevator pitch. We did also talk about the popularity of storytelling in terms of really capturing your audience. And we did also unpack the 4 pillars of any is, and number 4, you need to make a call to action. And of course, apart from those 4, the first and foremost and most important thing is you need to introduce yourself, your company, and what it does. So we're moving on to this part. For the next 5-10 minutes, we're just going to be talking about how to present, persuade, and close the deal. Tips from this book written by Justin Cohen, a 160-page book. He's an international speaker who presents and trains in the fields of motivation, sales, customer service, and leadership. He is one of the world's leading experts on pitching for business. This book looks extremely old in my hands, because they say a Bible that is torn shows that the owner is a prayerful owner. So mine is old because I read a lot about how to pitch. It helps me prepare for my sales pitches, and it equips me, and I am here to share those secrets in a summary from that book. We are on the slide of the book, where there's the picture of the book. I'm going to share the 6 critical elements of what this world-acclaimed expert says a pitch should be like. He narrowed it down to only 6 steps, and those 6 steps he abbreviated them as TTOPPS. TTOPPS. You can call it top model. And this TOPS model, whenever you're preparing a pitch and you're going to sell or persuade someone about your business or a partnership, you should just say, has my pitch or my presentation met the TOPS formula or the model? And this TOPS model is the #1 reason a winning pitch gets chosen over the rest. It is the mindset of all people who win the most pitches. It is a step-by-step guide to creating and delivering a winning pitch script. And then also what we will have to go on is that how do you deliver a pitch without sounding like a salesman, and instead sound like someone who's bringing purpose. So to look at the first step of the TOPS model, the first step is called tune in. Tune in. Tune in is all about you're going into a room, for example, tomorrow at this Manzini Regional presentation by Junior Achievement Eswatini and MTN Eswatini. You walk into the room. What is the first thing that you want to show your audience? The first thing that you want to show your audience is that you understand your customer base. You are in tune with your customer base. You listen to your customer base. And how do you let them know that you listen? From your presentation, your first few words must state that you understand the problems that are faced by your potential customers. So you want to appear like a listener. I have been researching, I've been listening, I've been speaking to different people, and I've discovered that the problem of a lack of electricity in certain areas is hindering the development of families and communities. You are a listener. The pitch is won in your understanding of what they need and want, what the customers need and want. And secondly, when you are in the presentation room, it is very important to be open and receptive to the people that you're going to be speaking to. You want to listen to every question that they're going to be posing to you. You want to listen to every remark and be able to respond with understanding. Listen to understand, and not just listen to defend yourself from their questions. So being that receptive is the most important #1 of the TOPS model. Then the second pillar is team. The author states that a pitch is not won by one person. The relationship with your team is critical to your success. If you watch a lot of these pitches by Junior Achievement Eswatini School Company of the Year, the school's competition that normally happens in December, you will notice that most of the time when they go to present, there is a CEO, there's a financial manager, there is also a marketing manager, and they speak as a team, and sometimes there's an operations manager. So when the funders, when they present to the funders, you find that the chief executive officer gives an overview, an executive summary. pitched so much that I've been rejected. My pitches were always excellent. I always provide value. I always provide differentiators, but I never get to win anything. And you get rejected a lot, which is why a positive expectation, you must have a positive expectation that you will eventually win. And that is the key to success. I'll make an example of a mentee I once had. This mentee had pitched in many different forums, competitions. She was running a massage parlor. So with the massage parlor, she was selling the service to say she wants to do massages for different people. She was rejected many times. Then we met under a Junior Achievement Eswatini program, and we changed the whole business structure into a health service, because the massage stiff. They are locked in, locked down. We looked at other aspects that she can help in. I asked her, do you also massage pregnant women? She said, oh, definitely. I asked also, do you massage the elderly? She said, yes. We started listing the different components of the problem to say, in your area, do you have a service of people going out to massage people with strokes and all that? She said no. We said, now let's package it as a health service. We packaged it as a health service. It had a differentiator now, as we spoke about differentiator in the elevator pitch, and then it had a call to action to say, hey, come to me, I'll massage you, I'm a health expert. What happened then is that within a month, that lady had won 10,000 emalangeni seed capital just by firstly repackaging her business to have all those elements that will make you win a pitch, and then secondly she stuck to the O. She was now more confident of her business despite being rejected, and she was optimistic that she will get that grant, and she got it. She got a 10,000 emalangeni grant. And then number 4, your presence. How you say it is more than what you say. How you say it is more than what you say. A very interesting, very interesting one there. A person can come and stand. I've watched a lot of pitches. Like I've sat in many. I think dozens of pitches. You find a person coming to speak about a pig farming. They come and say, I do pig farming, and you look at this person and you think to yourself, this person is probably a representative of the company, is not the actual pig farmer, because they don't have the confidence, they don't have not even the eloquence, but they just are not convincing in how they say. You ask, do you really do pig farming? You don't look like a pig farmer. And the person says, I am a pig farmer. I say, you are not. She says she is. Then another one will come, even has names of the pigs. From the look and feel, as he comes in, he starts talking about how he manages the pigs, how he does everything. The way he speaks is enough to convince a potential funder. So your presence, just even walking, you need to walk like a pig farmer if you're a pig farmer. And if you're into fashion, I've gone into pitches where a person says, I do nails, but they come in, their nails are not done. And you think to yourself, really, is this convincing? Why would a nail therapist not do her own nails? That means she doesn't even believe in her own business. So already you lose a few points there in terms of your presence. You're not convincing enough. And then the 5th P, because as you can see, our top says 2 Ps. The 5th P is a purpose. We all want to buy from people who truly want to serve us more than themselves. We spoke about the massage business, which it turned out into a health business, to say it wasn't about money. It was more about uplifting the community, helping people who are stressed and have stiff necks and want to be productive at work, but have this ailment that they need to be helped on. So business is more about the value you can provide to people. So when you're doing a pitch, you must throw in that value. The day that woman walked into that room and threw in the value proposition to say, hey, I'm going to help anyone, even you who's listening to this pitch, I can massage you because you are looking stressed as well. And the minute the judges heard that and said, wow, this is value, we are impressed, we are willing to fund you because this is an essential service. You are not doing it just for money. You are solving a society problem. You are plugging into a gap, and that is what entrepreneurs do, and that is how entrepreneurs win. And then the other part is story. We explored this in the previous slides. We spoke a lot about storytelling. Emotional stories win over trifecta. And Justin Cohen, the multi-award winning, much traveled pitch expert, is saying the same thing. He's saying, if you're going to speak, do a pitch and leave out storytelling, yes, you'll win, but the one who tells a story will win more. Imagine the lady with the massage coming in and saying, Coco Simelane was lying in her bed. She couldn't move any of her limbs. Her daughter called me, and I ran to her house. I took out my equipment, I massaged her. Her muscles loosened, and she started moving a bit. And she thanked me and referred me to her other friends who are also suffering from the same feeling. And within 2 weeks, I had helped over 20 community members. And I can help you as well. That is storytelling. That is giving value to the business. That is selling the value of the business more than you just selling the product. And before we break, I'd like to also look at the very key essential words. We spoke on the top speech. We spoke about number 4. It was presence. How you say it is more important than what you say. How do you say it? How do you say it? The key words for the pitch, there are many words. Please go on your search engines, go on Google and just type persuasive words, powerful words for pitches. Include them in your pitch setup. Some of the words that immediately sell or convince a person. The one key one is you. Once you use the word you during your presentation, you are now capturing the people that are listening. You have a problem. I have a solution. You can get better products and value at a more affordable price. You have a solution from me from today. You can save more money. You are special. You are amazing. The words you bring attention to those people listening. Even if a person was on their phone and just distracted, the minute you mention the word you, they start listening. They pick up their head and they start listening to hear what you want to speak about. The other words is and or, joining words, very important when you're speaking, offering different solutions and just showing that there's more towards what you're speaking. One of the biggest words that always comes out in every pitch is value. That's all we are looking for in this world, whether it's in business or in a relationship. You're just looking for value. You want to find out if this thing has value, it has quality, it's worth my money, it's worth my time, it's worth my attention. A very important word again that people love. Even if a product is 10 malangeni, once you say it's $9.99, people will rush to buy that product because of the word bargain. People want a bargain. If you say this phone is 7,000 malangeni, people won't be interested. But if you say this phone was 15,000, now it's 7,000, people say, what a bargain. I want that phone, it's a bargain. People love a bargain. We all want to save. And if you are doing that pitch presentation and you're saying, I'm here to tell you about my services. I sell clothes online via WhatsApp, but my clothes are a bargain. They're a bargain because the same clothes, if you go into a shop in town, you're going to pay 300 emalangeni, 500 emalangeni. But if you buy from me, because I take direct from the supplier, bring it straight to your house, the same clothes are 150 emalangeni. I give bargains to my customers. The minute you use the word bargain, even your investors start saying, it's worth investing in this one. They are offering bargains and they'll get customers. Very key word as well is easy. Easy. People want convenience. They live for convenience. They drive for convenience. If it can cut me 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I'm in. They don't want anything that will give them a hassle. So anything that is easy, people are going to jump onto it. And as you do your products, even if you're talking about an online shop, a website, and you say it's easy to navigate this website. If you're talking about, I don't know, you're talking about having a pig farm, it's easy to grow these pigs. It's easy to sell the pig products. The words easy, they make a person want to be interested in your product. They want easy things. Very essential. F&B, how can we help you? The other word is help. Everybody wants help. Any help. I want help, you want help, we want help. We all want help. So if somebody says, here is a product to help you, you have the attention of the person that you're speaking to. If you're speaking about these timers that one of the students had that gauge your electricity usage, and you say, this product will help you save money on electricity. The word help, it grabs the attention of investors, financial institutions. Oh, this is a solution. The word now is also a very popular word. Now. If you're going to pitch and you say the product that you have will start working now, it will give you value now, it will be a bargain now, they want to move with you. Most business ideas are not fresh, but they are usually improved. So if you use the word improved when you're pitching, you say, yes, there have been video cameras, yes, there have been cell phones, but our new cell phone, the Lukele cell phone, made in Swaziland, made in Eswatini, is improved. To get to the keypads, you just need to state what name you want to call, and it will call on its own. It's improved. It's easy. And also it has value. It's a bargain. And it helps for someone who cannot see properly. It helps them. They can just simply dictate what they want. And then also very important is the word instant. People want things now. We're a microwave generation. We're not the crock pot generation where you put something for many hours and then it comes out. We want things now. Go to the microwave. So when we are listening to a company presentation, we are looking for a company presentation that will provide instant solutions. Okay, so when will I get this on my phone? When will I get the clothes? When will they be delivered? Instantly. You order now, after lunch, you have your clothes. And then a very popular word when people are presenting is best. I'm standing here, I am the best massage parlor in the country. I'm standing here, I am the best cell phone maker. I'm standing here, I am the best pig farmer. Ooh! Imagine saying you're the best pig farmer in front of a potential funder and then going on to back it to the differentiator. Why you say you're the best pig farmer? You grab the attention and make the pitch powerful. Sale goes back to bargain. We have sales in our company. The word brief, very important as well, because people don't like to hear words like, yeah, I'm going to give you a long presentation about my product. I'm going to give you a brief explanation about how my product works. People are like, okay, just I'll get it in a few sentences instead of falling asleep while you're talking. And then when you say remember, people are like, what must I remember? Speaking of remembering, please remember the 15 words, and I would like you to share during the break which words resonated with you the most. Just an exercise, because we will take a 30-minute break at around 10:15. And then the words thank you, very underrated, thank you, please, and then welcome, very, very important. So yeah, there you have it. These are just 15 of many powerful words that you can use when making a presentation, which you can use for your next PowerPoint presentation or sales pitch. And then lastly, before we go on to our next video, it's very important to dress the part when you go for these presentations. You need to look the part. But interestingly, while I was preparing for this presentation, I went onto a website and I saw this list of different clothes that people can wear when they're going to do a presentation. The first in the category of social business or e-commerce or digital business, social media, websites, creative. They said it's okay to come to the presentation wearing jeans or pants and a shirt or your branded shirt, which looks good. I've seen a lot of tech guys coming in with their branded shirts, guys who've got internet companies coming with their branded shirts. Always a very nice look that gives you confidence in their products and services. You can see what's your these guys mean business. The jeans, we don't mind if they are matched with a nice corporate shirt. Sports, you need to look like a sports person. Come in with your gym shirt, but also pants, and maybe show a bit of muscles, because here you are coming to us for funding for a sports venture, but you are not anywhere showing that you are actually in the sports business. It's like getting a haircut from someone who has big hair. You're just thinking he might cut your head off because he can't even cut his own hair. So you need to look the part. Fintech, financial technology, you need to look a bit bank-like. White button-down shirt and suit trousers, and you can wear a jacket as well. Fashion, dress up like you're going to meet the GQ magazine. If you're female, just stop short of a ball gown. Interestingly, we were taking presentations the other day at the Ministry of Commerce, and a lady who's a fashion designer came to present, and she was wearing one of her dresses that she designed. Very nice dress, evening dress. And you can imagine it's during the day, she's wearing an evening dress. And immediately she caught our attention. It was like, okay, in the dress, and she said, I designed it. This is one of many products that I have. We were very impressed with that. She's talking the talk. Gaming, security, you can get away with jeans and a t-shirt. Healthcare, similar to bankers, but you might get away with a tie if you're a doctor. That's authentic to you. Yeah, that's artificial stuff at the end. Again, a t-shirt, you can get away with that. And then, but the basic approach to dressing up for a presentation, I've always said, and I always say, and I will always say, is to be neat. Whatever you're wearing, be neat, be comfortable. And I always say it doesn't have to be new clothes. You don't have to go buy specific clothes for tomorrow's presentation at Mavuso Trade Center, but they just need to be clean and well ironed. You do that, you're clean, you're fresh, you're going to attract the attention of the investor. It's a bonus if you've got your jacket on top, your blazer, but just being clean, neat, and just semi-formal. Have your shirt nicely ironed, pants, you can never go wrong with that basic look. Same with ladies, just a nice skirt or a nice dress, clean, well ironed, and of course your hair must also be kempt and yeah, you dress to impress. And they say dressing up is a sign of respect to the people you are standing in front of or talking to. So yeah, you need to, first impressions last. We spoke of the elevator pitch. You meet a millionaire at the elevator, you go up with him. The first thing he'll do is look at you. Are you fresh? Are you clean? And if you're fresh, you're clean, he'll be willing to talk to you. He won't necessarily be looking if you're wearing expensive clothes. Fresh and cleanness will get you everywhere. So we'd like to move over to the next video. It's a very nice video by Justin Cohen. We spoke about his book, and here he's trying to explain a bit more about how to do a winning pitch. And then we'll come back before we take our break.
Because let me ask you this, have you ever been with a potential client absolutely convinced that you were the best? You had the best product, the best service, or you just knew that you were the best person for this job. You delivered that pitch, convinced you had a fighting chance, and then you waited for that email, and there it was in your inbox with those words, those beautiful words, "We regret to inform you." Or worse, they didn't even bother to let you know. If you've been there, raise your hand in the air and say, "I." We've all been there, haven't we? And let me tell you something. I was there more times than I care to remember. I would go in, do what I thought was a great pitch, only to lose it often to somebody that I really thought was offering less value. And I'll never forget losing a major deal for an organization I just knew I would have been able to add great value to. And losing it and working out my frustration at the gym, it just struck me, if I was so convinced that my offering was better and I lost it, then clearly it's not enough having the best product. You've got to have the best pitch. Anybody remember that film from the 1980s with Kevin Costner? Costner plays the small-time farmer. His real dream is baseball, and he wants to convert the farm into a baseball pitch. And like any entrepreneur, he's struggling with that dilemma. I mean, he could do it, win big, or lose everything. And while he's struggling with this dilemma, these words come to him, which have kind of become a rallying cry for entrepreneurs everywhere. Does anybody remember those words? Build it, and they will come. Aren't they beautiful, those words? Yeah? But I mean, I, as a kid, watched that, and I was so inspired. I just thought, man, all I really need to do is just build my skills and do something great. Just bring value into the world.
Okay, but the password that I got from Notgola was wrong. So I kept on changing at 25, at 23. Then one of them logged in, and I don't know which one was it.
But it is a lie.
So I'll send you the one that she gave me, and now you'll hack it until you don't get it.
Maybe that will come. If you're anything like me, you've spent a lot of your life building your skills, building your products, your services, your value.
No, I'm for real.
And passionate about
it. Email,
and maybe, like me, all you've really thought is, hey, just be great at what you do. Just be great. Well, great is not good enough. It's not great. It's not good enough being great at what we do. We've got to be great at
I'll send you on WhatsApp.
And you might think that sucks. I thought it sucked. All I wanted to do was deliver and create, right? You're part of an organization, and you know you've got great value. You just want to deliver it. Well, that's a fantasy, one that we see in a Hollywood movie. Reality is different. Imagine bringing a life-saving drug into the world, a drug that cures a form of cancer. You wouldn't have to pitch that, right? I mean, people would be beating down your door to get that drug. It cures cancer, right? Right? Wrong. I do a lot of work with pharmaceutical companies. Do you know that pharmaceutical companies spend more money pitching, marketing those life-saving drugs than they do researching and developing them? Now, if that is true for a drug that cures a form of cancer, then surely it has got to be true for you and I. And when I faced that reality, man, I dug deep into every book and program on pitching and marketing and selling that I could find. See, my mission, the reason I'm on this planet, is I equip and I inspire people and organizations to realize their potential. I've done this over many years through the various books that I've written, the programs that I delivered. But the way I saw it is that if I could not pitch, then I would not be able to fulfill my mission. So I would have to figure this out. And as I started to put this together for myself, my results exploded. I pitched and won my own CNBC Africa television talk show. I pitched and won publishing deals that I don't ever dreamt of, and my own results exponentially increased. And I thought, mission accomplished. Really had no intention. I never thought I'd be writing a book or teaching this at all. And then I get a call from one of my clients. EY, Ernst & Young, the accounting firm. And they asked me to come and do the keynote presentation at their conference. And afterwards, the CEO called me up and he said, look, we got to go pitch for, it was actually Barclays Bank. In fact, the London office had lost this business. And this was now the African office who had to now pitch for it. And he said, look, we don't feel we've got more than a 20% chance of winning, so we want to try something different. That's often when people call me. And I was a little bit nervous because, no offense to any accountants present, but accountants aren't known as the most scintillating communicators. And now he wanted me to work with him. I was like, if an accountant's wife can't fall asleep, she says to her husband, darling, tell me about your day. Like, how do you make pitching a quality audit anything different? I mean, it doesn't get more commoditized than a quality audit, right? So I said to him, look, I haven't done this before, but okay, let's try it out. Yeah? And I worked with them for a few days. And one of the things that I did, and it was so great to hear Simon talking about story, because that is the heart of what I teach as well. I used to be a script writer many, many years ago. I even wrote a script for a Hollywood movie. And so for me, story is absolutely key. And one of the things that I did is I got the guys to get rid of all their PowerPoint. You know, the PowerPoint is for people with no power and no point. Guilty as charged, but it's how we use it, of course. So we stripped out all those PowerPoint slides, and what I got them to do was just share their authentic, real, emotional story. And, you know, you've heard from Simon, the neuroscience on this is absolutely unequivocal. Do you know that people will remember about 10% of the facts? But 10% of people will remember the facts, but over 60% of people will remember the story, and that's because of the emotional connection that is made. And the other thing, and we've heard this again and again today, we heard it from Jeremy, people don't want to be sold to, right? Do you wake up, you know, on a Saturday morning and say, I want to go to the high street and be sold? No. But you wake up and say, I want to go to the high street and buy stuff? Sure, right? And this is because of the reactance effect. Have you noticed there's 3 ways to get something done? 1, do it yourself. 2, pay someone. 3, forbid your teenagers. There's a teenager inside every single one of us, right? It's our free will. It's our aversion to avert persuasion. Now, the beautiful thing about story, it puts them in the buyer zone, right? Because you're not asking anybody to do anything. If you told an effective story, they make up their mind themselves, right? One of the things we often hear is, and again, Simon made this point beautifully, is how we will often go in there and tell people about us. Margaret Thatcher, she said, if you have to tell people you're a lady, you probably aren't one. I'm waiting for somebody to tell Donald Trump that if you have to tell people you're a stable genius, you might not be. The point is, with stories, you don't have to tell people anything because you're just giving them what? Essentially a case study, right? So these guys just told their story, and at the end, remember they were pitching to fellow accountants, the audit committee stood and applauded, and they won that business. And that's when it occurred to me that if my mission was to equip people to realize their potential, well, if you can't pitch your potential, you're not going to be able to realize it.
And we're back. I hope you enjoyed that video and you now get a sense of just how important the right pitches are in the world of sales and also in the world of business. We have gone through a lot of things about the pitch. We are really hammering it in today because we do not want you to just have an idea, just have a business plan, but not have a way to sell it to potential investors, funders, financial institutions. So when we do come back after the break, after a 30-minute break, we're going to go into step by step of what you need to prepare when you're going to make a presentation. Now, this is things that include the executive summary, business detail, market. We're going to zero into that. And then the most exciting part, we're going to talk about the common investor questions at pitches. What do people like me ask you when I'm a judge at a business competition to see if your business pitch is going to win? We've got about 20 questions here that I'm going to share with you that can help you prepare you. And then, as a final way to equip you, we're going to have a couple of slides just to show you what it looks like when you're doing a pitch presentation, what is entailed in those slides, the look and feel. the questions you're answering, the different things that you're putting into that presentation, so that it is a powerful presentation. So it's going to be exciting when we return. Going to take a 30-minute break, but during that 30 minutes, I would like to invite you to write in the comment section any 3 keywords that you find very powerful to share during a presentation or pitch presentation that I may have not captured in my 15 words. Just share your own that you feel whenever you talk. Maybe the word beautiful, maybe the word powerful, maybe the word quality is very important when you're doing a sales pitch. So we'll see you after the break. Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope you have enjoyed the brief break after a lot of information overload in our first session where we're just talking about pitching. And I'm loving all the comments that are coming through online. I can see Charity Lamasego coming in with a very interesting comment here, saying, after all, we are to bring empathy to our business. Better show it first to potential investors. She's just acknowledging the video that I shared earlier where the speaker was talking about the need to show empathy, and empathy being to show concern and to show love and to show yourself, putting yourself into the shoes of the person that you're presenting to the person that has a need for your product or service, and showing that you understand their needs, you understand the basic wants that they are looking for from your products. And thank you very much for that comment. It shows that you are watching, you are interested, you are listening. And I can assure you, as they say in some churches, after you leave here, you'll never be the same, Lamasego. And then there's another one from Pumelele P. Dlamini. She has a question, actually. She says, a great presentation, a great lesson indeed. How long in minutes should the pitch be? We're talking about pitches today, business pitches. And she's saying, I hear you. You're talking about everything here, but you're not telling us how long these pitches must be. And she's also asking, are these pitches timed, or a person can continue pitching as long as there's someone to listen? And what I'm loving about our class today is that if you're in class, people pick up their hand, they answer a question. Others pick up a hand and they answer a question. Here it's interactive. Charity Lamasego has picked up her hand, and she says, I do know JA will give an exact answer to this question, but my experience is that a person has around 10 minutes to do a pitch presentation. Our mentor advised us that if we have 10 minutes, we should take not more than 5 minutes to do the pitch presentation, and then we must leave the other 5 minutes, dedicate that 5 minutes towards the question and answer session. And the panel will ask questions, and we must not waste the next person who's coming to pitch as time. And she says, I hope my experience helps though, and I hope it answers the question. It definitely answers the question, Charity Lamasego. Thank you so much for sharing that. I hope your mentor is a JA mentor as well. And I must say, going back to the question from Pumelele, just to add on a bit to Charity Lamasego's contribution, if you're going to present, for example, to a financial institution, you are going to be given an appointment and told, okay, come through at 9:30 a.m. And during that time, you will have an opportunity to ask, how long will our session be? So that I know for my presentation purposes. And they'll tell you, if they have 30 minutes, they have 30 minutes. So you can also, like Charity Lamasego, then cue yourself that in that 30 minutes, I'm going to take 20 minutes presenting, leave 10 minutes for questions. But I also do like the half-half. Sometimes not everything comes out of your presentation. And now you need to leave it to the question and answer session, because that then extracts the key questions that really will drive the financial institution to give you the money or not. So you have the best of both worlds. Junior Achievement Eswatini is going to be going out to the 4 regions. They'll have judges sitting and asking questions. And the format Junior Achievement uses is the same format used in many business competitions. 5 minutes questions, 5 minutes presentation, 5 minutes questions. 5 minutes presentation, 5 minutes questions. So you can just imagine in 5 minutes, you have to have squeezed in a lot of information. I'm going to show the slide now that says to prepare for your presentation, you need to squeeze this. Of course, my name is Nati Kule, and we are doing the 21 days of Yellow Care. using entrepreneurship to catalyze job opportunities. This is a partnership between MTN Eswatini and Junior Achievement Eswatini online entrepreneurship lessons. Today's lesson is mainly on pitching because we've gone over the business plan, we've gone over ideation. We are now into the meat, the business end of everything. We are now talking about how to pitch. Yes, as I was explaining, my slide is up now. As I was explaining earlier, in that 5 minutes that you have, believe it or not, you need to have stated the executive summary. You need to have stated the executive summary. The executive summary has to include your company name, product and service, summary of financial results, summary of company performance. Imagine. But that executive summary, even if you were to be cut after just saying that, you are done with the presentation. If the only thing that I would add there would be the marketing, the marketing element, because you cannot do a summary without also stating how you're going to get to market. And then if you've still got a bit more time left, you can come through and add on the business purpose, the history, how the concept came about, operations plan, and then also, let's just jump quickly to the next one, the market. Very important, this one. Does your product have a market? Ukhuluma ngakoko Ndlovu, who needs this product, but where is the market? What is the competitive analysis? Who are producing similar products like the one that you are presenting? And the needs identification and marketing strategy, and the unique capabilities of your product. This is all within, you're basically now into your second minute. And then quickly, product or service. Description of products or services, including the features and benefits of the products or services, and the detailed pricing strategy. Detailed pricing strategy is very important. I've seen, I've been a business mentor, a business judge to many competitions. And it's very, very interesting that when people come and they talk, okay, I'll be selling pigs, I'll be selling chickens. They tell you where they'll be selling them, how they'll be selling them, how many they'll be selling them. And every time after that 5-minute presentation, we're left with the big question. Okay, Sisi, how much are your chickens? Because I don't know, somewhere it just gets lost because 5 minutes is a small time. But within that 5 minutes, in your executive summary, you need to have mentioned how much you are selling for, your price analysis, because that determines whether the investor will find your business viable or not. And then, yeah, these are small things we lose out. Even myself, sometimes I do miss the pricing, but I usually have a slide just dedicated to the finances. Even if I have 3 slides, first slide is summary, second slide is market, third slide is product or services, and the last one is always my financial slide. 4 slides, I'm out in 5 minutes. You have everything you want to know about my product and service, and that's how it works. And then you also have to have the product and service description. Very, very important. We've seen so many presentations where a person is talking about the yummiest chickens they are selling, and you ask, can I please see your chickens? What if they don't even have feathers? Let's see if they are worth investing in. And you find they don't have pictures. And in a digital era where you can just grab a picture, I always say to people, even if you're using the so-called bombombo, which is these phones that do not have a capability to have WhatsApp and proper high-quality cameras, I always say to them, go to a community member, tell them, please, can I take a picture? Send the picture to me. Put that picture on your presentation. Where there's a will, there's always a way. We need to see those pictures in your pitch presentations. They make the world of difference. One lady put in a beautiful picture of her chickens. One chicken was this size, and we were all so impressed. And you know, she ended up winning the grant just by sharing the size of the. We even asked if those were chickens or some other bird, because you know, it was really convincing how she was feeding her chickens. And we saw that when this goes out to market, it will definitely have a very good as sales. And then also, it's very important to speak about the finance, the funds that you require, the shareholder capital, and so many other things in terms of the detailed financial obligations of your company. You're raising chickens, how much is feed, how much is going to take up to set up the shelter, how much is it going to take to transport, distribute the chickens, just to the bare minimum in terms of finance. And this is all in your 4th minute now. And then management, who is in your team? I do know one lady, she won Entrepreneur of the Year in the agriculture category. Young lady, under 30, in the last Entrepreneurship Awards in that category. She was alone in her farm. Astonishing story. Fully registered company, distributing to different supermarkets and markets. In her management team, she was all alone. Won the award, took it home. So it does not mean that once they write management, you now have to start listing 50, 60 people that do not even exist. Sole proprietors are there. Lead consultants are there. People who run a company on their own. And then last but not least, the marketing strategy, the most important, the one that excites me the most. Very important. No funder is going to give you funding unless you've got a good marketing strategy. But it's very important to also have a realistic marketing strategy. You find a person is selling chickens again, and they're saying they will have a billboard talking about the sales of the chicken. How much does it take to set up a billboard? Another person is writing a marketing strategy and saying they'll have a newspaper advert, full color. And you look at how much is a newspaper advert, full color. Is it realistic to include it as part of your marketing strategy? Another person will say they'll have a television advert advertising their chickens. Is it really realistic? What is realistic is one, word of mouth. What is realistic is maybe posters around the community. What is realistic is, of course, things like WhatsApp marketing. What is definitely realistic is Facebook and Instagram marketing. That will sell your business very, very easily. So, and then also your branding. I think that should have been the very first slide that you need to have. You're selling chickens, have that big picture of that big chicken on your logo, have the name of your logo, because your identity is what will sell and is what will make your investor fall in love with you. So after all this is said and done, now you have to go and face investors. Let's get a video to just get a feel. What do investors normally ask? You're presenting. What are they going to ask you? Let's just hear from this expert.
Hey founders, what's up? In today's video, we are talking about your investor pitch. In my opinion, most founders underestimate the impact a good preparation can have here. It's like playing a sport. If you are not training for it, how can you expect to be good at it? So let's take a look at some of the most common questions you will get when pitching investors. You will get them over and over again from different investors, and it's really important to have a proper answer for each of them. Number one, why is now the right time to start the company? Imagine being a VC investor. You are looking for outlier companies that can drive huge returns. And historically speaking, these companies were primarily creating new markets or were right in time to disrupt existing markets. That's why investors love to invest in companies that are having current tailwinds. This question is to check if you are seeing any of these at the moment. Question 2. Why is your team capable of doing this? You as a founder and your team are the most important factor for every investor, because still with the best idea but poor execution you won't be successful. But if you are a great founder, you can make a mediocre idea a success and, more importantly, overcome every obstacle on the way. So make sure to answer this question with a small summary of your motivations, your skills, but also most importantly, everything that makes you personally unique. Question 3. How did you come up with the idea? This is an interesting question because investors in general are really interested in learning more about your ways of thinking, but also your personal passion. A lot of founders created their company because they wanted to solve a problem that they personally encountered on their own. Question 4. How can this go wrong? Obviously, we are planning for the case that everything goes right and the company grows as planned. But in my opinion, it is also always a good idea to be aware of the risk factors. If we know about them, we can easily focus on them and try to avoid them. Question 5. Who are your competitors? There's no business without competition. If there is a real problem you address with your company, there's for sure someone who is already trying to solve it. Investors ask this question to get a sense of the whole competitor landscape, but also to see how you can distinguish yourself from them. As an investor, I've often seen pitches in which founders said they have no competition. Never do that. Even if you are creating a new market, there must be incumbents and solutions that people are using for different areas of the problem. 6. How do you divide the responsibilities amongst each other? Another important question about your team that you should have a good answer for. The best teams and founders know exactly what they are good at and what not. So make sure to have clear responsibilities amongst you as a founding team. So for example, one person could be responsible for fundraising, another person for the development, and the third person for marketing and sales. You will only succeed with your company if you divide your limited resources. 7. How much money do you need and what are you going to do with it? You are pitching for an investment into your company, so obviously you need to know how much money you need exactly. You can take that from your financial model or your plan. Furthermore, it is important to see for the investor what you are spending the money on. Because in the past they have had for sure portfolio companies that were spending their money on useless stuff. Number 8. What will the company look like in 10 years? Venture in general is a long-term game, and most great successes are not created overnight. With this question, the investor wants to check if you have a long-term vision for the company, and most importantly, the ambition to build something that changes the world. Question 9. What is your traction so far? My favorite questions of all. The more traction you have, the easier it will be for you to persuade an investor to invest. Because traction is a sign that you are progressing. Always keep in mind that in the earliest days of the company, it can be literally everything from user interviews or letter of intents. But the longer you are in your startup's journey, the more revenue-driven the traction metrics will be. Number 10. What is the value your customers are getting from the product? You can only build a great company if you are actually creating something customers want and you are delivering value to them. So make sure you understand exactly where this value lies right now and how that might change in the future. I really hope you like these kind of questions and now you are ready for your next investor pitch. I will also link you our
And we're back, and I hope you enjoyed that video. Very fast speaker. You can tell that he's used to making a lot of business pitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 5 minutes, he had crammed over 10 different points, which is quite interesting. I just picked that up. And but very important question: what value will your product or service bring to the customer? It's one question that you're going to be asked. Hey, you're selling chickens. What value will it bring to your customer? I know one lady, she won 50,000 seed capital. She was selling rabbits and she was asked, what value will your rabbits bring to society? Why rabbits? We are already buying chickens at a cheaper price. And she was quick to answer to explain the nutritional benefits of rabbits and why the world should actually be consuming more rabbits than they are consuming chickens and cows. And yeah, that really sold to see that that showed that the lady knew her product and the value it brings. Actually, since then, I also eat rabbits. On a more serious note though, those were very interesting questions. I hope you picked them up and you have them in your mind for future presentations that you'll be having, because I also asked those questions. One of the reasons I was asked to come and present over the past 2 days is because I'm usually referred to as one of the most inquisitive junior achievement judges, and two mentees I saw at the recent Yellow Care, they said to me, oh my goodness, here is that tough judge who was asking us difficult questions the last time we were presenting. And difficult questions, they grow you. Difficult questions stretch your mind. Difficult questions make you better and better, such that by the time you're presenting to the African Development Bank, even if you will find a person who has traveled the world and starts asking you questions about your product, you would have gone through some of the toughest questions, and they'll be very easy for you to answer. And my questions are not very difficult, as people may assume. They're general. I put myself in the shoes of the consumer. I ask from a consumer perspective, and as well as a potential funder, but mostly as a consumer, to say, really, why your product? There's so many pigs out there. There's so many cattle out there. Why should we buy your cattle? Is your meat, red meat, tender? What goes into the process of making your product, your meat products? What's unique? Is it organic? How's your feedlot done? I just want to know the unique value proposition, the differentiator. You remember we spoke about the differentiator when we were starting out, and in every business plan I've ever written or ever edited, I've always in the executive summary put in the differentiator. What makes this company one worth giving an ear? Because everyone is farming out there, but what makes you a unique farmer? We're going to go through the 13 most commonly asked questions at pitches. The first and the most common that you will always hear is, what problem are you solving, or what problem do you want to solve with your product and service? And this has to come out very clearly. You are using recycled material to make cups. You recycle bottles, cut them in half, and you make them into cups and resell them. What problem are you solving with that product? Are you just collecting litter and you're bored and cutting the bottles into half because you are bored? Or you are contributing to the green economy? You are cleaning up the environment, ridding communities of dangerous bottles that may harm animals, harm children, but in the process you're also providing a new, cheaper, more affordable solution in terms of glasses that communities can use. I went to buy glass the other day. Yes, glasses are not that cheap, and if you are saying you're coming at maybe 70% the price of a normal glass because yours is recycled, you are solving a problem. You are putting more coins back into our pockets. That is what you're solving, and that is a differentiator. What kinds of people, groups, organizations have that problem? How many are there? That's the market question. I did speak about it when we were doing the things that you need to prepare. Where are your people? Geographic location. We did that yesterday in our business plan. The demographics of the people that you want to sell to. What do they do about it now? The market. How are you different? I've spoken about it. How will you compete? Who will you compete with? Market competition analysis, we've spoken about this. And how are your competitors different from you? Very, very important to state how they are different from you and how you will be different from them. How will you make money from your products? And how will you make money for your investors? And how fast can you grow your business? We heard it from the gentleman who was speaking earlier. And he did explain that every investor wants to know if your business is scalable or not, and that is definitely actually in one of the questionnaires that we have as judges. There's an issue of scalability, and we are able to give you points based on that the business has the ability to grow, and it's a lot of points. So do not just say, I will have one mobile phone outlet, spaza phone, and then do not state how you would like to replicate your business in different environments, similar environments. What traction have you made? What have you done so far with your business idea? You want to start a mobile phone. I've already started selling airtime to different people around my community. I knock on doors. I sometimes sell to the shop when they run out. I sell to people at night. But now I just need a structure. That's traction. You've already made traction. So here I'm also giving you the responses, which was one of my tasks. What milestones have you met? On one day, I once sold 3,000 emalangeni airtime. So wow, my business is viable. Invest in it, give me the structure. I'll be selling up to 10,000 a month. You can already see that I am making milestone. I know my business and I know how to make money out of it. Invest in me now. How are you going to get the word out? Marketing, marketing, marketing. I have 5,000 Facebook friends. I'm going to flood them with messages in their inboxes telling them about my product and giving them a call to action, telling them to WhatsApp me to find out about bargains. We spoke about the word bargain. We spoke about the word sales. Well, I'm going to be telling them that. That's an example of how you can answer that. It's one thing to initiate a sale. It's another to close a sale. Number 11, how are you going to close the sale? One of the weakest points of people who do presentations is their ability to make a sale. They're good at setting up the chicken shed. They're good at setting up the feed, growing the chickens. And now, can you sell a chicken? No, sir, I can't. Then why are you in business? Why can't people make a sale? Some are just not confident. Some are not born salespeople. Some just don't know where to start. I have the chickens. I've got like 100 chickens now. Now, how do I get them to the market? Yes, I've put out the Facebook advert. Someone says, okay, how much are chickens? I say, oh, okay, they're $70. Okay, thanks, bye. The guy is gone. Can you close a sale? The minute a person asks, it's 70 emalangeni and I can come deliver it to you right now. Oh no, sorry, I'm not interested. Just no. That now that you've asked, let's close the sale. Make sure that every inquiry you turn into a sale. How are you going to get started? Very, very important. Some businesses, you ask them, one question I ask when I'm a judge is, I give you 10,000 today. What are the first 3 things you're going to do with the 10,000 emalangeni? Just tell me 3 things you're going to do. I've seen your big presentation. Lovely, amazing. But what 3 things will you do once you step out of this room with that 10,000? I'm willing to give it to you now. Not me, Pele. I don't have 10,000. I don't even have $5 in my phone. I mean, me as a judge for the funder. If the funder was to give you 10,000 through me as the judge, how are you going to? What 3 things are you going to do with that money? I say, I don't know. The business plan says it that I look for office. I'll do this. Be very confident. 3 things. Always have 3 things in mind. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put that baby into a bank account. Second thing I'm going to do, so that I can be accountable to you for your money. Second thing I'm going to do, I'm going straight to the registrar's office. I'm going to register my company. I'm going to spend that 1,825 emalangeni, register my company. Going to start the process of depositing an office, getting a lease agreement so that I get a trading license. And then with the rest of the money, I'm going to get a few stock and start operating. It's as simple as that. Within 2 weeks, I'll be up and running, say. And that just shows that you know your story. And most of these business plans, they don't have an explanation of how or when or timelines of getting started should you get the 10,000. Whereas that is the most important question that any potential funder listening to a pitch wants to know. What makes your team suited for this business? A lot of people, they come, they tell you, I'm going to do a business for videography. We're going to be taking videos of weddings, music videos, models, company events. Okay, great. What's your team's experience? That's one of the common questions. Why TV? Did you guys work at Eswatini TV, Channel S, Channel Maswati? Why did you go for TV? Now only later in the presentation is a person revealing, oh no, I'm actually a graduate from Limpopo University. I studied film and TV. Oh, makes sense. Your team? Oh no, my other friend was studying at AFTA, School of Film and TV in South Africa. Oh, okay. Now you're convincing me that you are in a craft that you know. Though I do know a lot of people who are into TV, very good in TV, but they are self-taught. So that also works as long as you can qualify it with the sort of experience that you have. And then the last 3, 4, 5, 6 questions is, how did you come up with this idea? Some investors are curious to know if this is something that is inside you. It's burning like a fire inside you. As in, go say, is this thing yours, a gift from? Yeah, is it your passion, or you just heard someone saying, let's do chickens sell fast, and you're running into chickens selling fast, and that won't work. Business has to be something coming from inside. And then why did you decide to do this marketing? Why did you choose this marketing? For example, this marketing tool, maybe social media. That's another question you might get. And then other questions that you'll sometimes have is, you'll say, I'm doing nails, I'm based in Mbabane, and then a funder will say, how Mbabane? There's like 80 people who are doing nails in Mbabane. Have you considered how you're going to be able to deal with that competition? And number 19, do you realize that you're vastly underestimating your marketing expenses? This is my favorite question. I mentioned it earlier when I was saying, a person will say, I have a billboard for chickens. Oh, I have a billboard for mobile money. A spaza shop at Ngwadini, and you want to have a billboard for selling vegetables. At startup stage, not yet. Mid stage, yes. Growth stage, yes. So we normally also caution on those things. And then, what sales have you made so far? That question, we've seen amazing pitches, amazing products, and this question number 20 always comes up to say, yay, are people interested in your product? How many, if they are? Once you can convince me that you're selling this battery charger that you created yourself, and it's been 10 months since you created 10 of them, how many sales have you made of these power banks? And once you can say, hey, in 10 power banks, I've sold 8. Now the investor now is interested. This thing only needs funding. I fund this thing to run on its own. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our presentation on pitching. I'm just going to go very quickly over just an example of a pitch deck that you might want to present to potential funders. And what's also very interesting about pitch decks, online, if you go online, not for watching TikTok videos about heartbreak and umjolo and dance challenges. If you go online and type on the Google search bar and type pitch presentation free editable PowerPoint and then press search, you'll see a list of different websites. They'll take you somewhere. And then you'll just start filling in that PowerPoint presentation and then download it onto your laptop. Download it into your laptop, edit it, and then put your logo, put everything there, and then you're able to now. You'll delete some of the slides because they'll be irrelevant to your product, but more or less you'll have a very nice presentation that is visually appealing. We were at Mbabane City Council one day, and there were a young gentleman presenting there. And there was a judge there. Very interesting slides they had. When they click, the slides move in and out, the circles move. Everything is well coordinated, well placed in where it's supposed to be. The colors are unique. There's nice lines. You know, when they mounted onto the stage to present and they showed their first 3 slides, there's a section in the scoring sheet that talks about presentation, ability, clarity. 1 minute into their presentation, I scored 10 for them. 1 minute into the presentation. They hadn't even finished it. Clear, confident, crisp. Everything was where it's supposed to be. Very convincing. Just the outline when they present to say, my presentation will have product, financials, marketing plan, competitive analysis. They listed everything just in the first few lines, and I was like, They clicked the next one. There was a picture of the product. I was like, aye. It's all in how you capture your audience, and how neat you look, and how well planned you structure yourself. Do we have the pitch deck ready? The red pitch deck. I'm not going to take too long on this one because I wanted to reserve the afternoon for you to absorb everything you've learned today. While I'm about to present the pitch deck, may you please type in any questions on the comment section about pitching, because in the next 10 minutes, our class for today, our last class for today, will be over. And you won't have an opportunity to reach out to me unless you contacted me through JA. All right, here is how a basic pitch deck looks like. So if you look on the slide, there's that big slide. It's written pitch deck in red. It's got your company name. So this is all editable. You delete the company name. You write on the pitch deck the name of what you're pitching. Super pigs, flourishing chickens, and then you put pictures around, and then you put the name and the date. And then if you look at the far left corner, there's something called try pitch. That try pitch on that far left corner, that's gray. That's the website that produced that free slides. You can go Google it, search it. It will give you access to a lot of free slides that you can use and you can also delete that try pitch once you are done. And then that was the first slide. The second slide, it shows you, this is your mission or tagline: to provide the freshest, the yummiest, and the most organic chickens in the kingdom of Eswatini. That is your tagline. And then you put your logo there with a nice fresh chicken running around. Table of contents. This is where I said they won me. Look at the freshness. Nice lines, nice numbers. Everything is where it's placed. Don't find now. Some writing is green, it's blue. Everything is nice and gray and black. There's uniformity. My eyes are not screaming and crying trying to read your presentation. And it just says everything that I'll know in just 4 slides. Oh, refreshing. Next slide, the mission. What is our mission? You put the rest of the presentation in context, makes it clear what problems you are solving. There is a lack of accountability, or there's a lack of gadgets in the country that help you to see how much electricity consumption you are using, or which gadgets are using a lot of electricity consumption, leading to excessive spending on your electricity bill. We are here to solve that with our product. Beautiful. That's our mission. We move on to the next red slide. Still the problem. And again, the next slide. What, why, and why now? What? Describe the problem you're solving. We are solving the issue of electricity, rising electricity costs. Why? Because electricity is ridiculously high. Why now? Because in April, electricity went up again, and we do have no idea of how to cut our electricity expenses, and we are now at the risk of load shedding. That's why now. Okay? Back up your argument with supporting data. In 2022, electricity was this price. In 2023, it's this price. It has increased by this percentage, and it is costing me this much to now power up my house. But if I know which gadgets are consuming electricity, I'll be able to reduce these figures, and my gadget will help me do that. And the best fundraising pitches convince prospective investors of inevitability, because you need to convince people that without your product, their house is going to go off, because the more they spend on electricity and they don't regulate their costs, the inevitability is things will just go off. And then condense your pitch into a powerful, simple yet powerful sentence. Introducing Nati gadget to regulate your electricity. Actually, interesting, I think the electricity gadget was done by Sifunzani, a product that they took to the JA Africa competition. Won a few awards there with that innovative product. Can't wait to get the product myself. Solution. How will your idea change the world? This is still you describing. I'm just giving you a feel. Market. The market determines the potential exit of the investor. It's important to show why this is such a valuable opportunity for them. The market size. How many electricity users are in the country? Boom, boom, boom. You're saying the size there. Moving right along. Your business model. How will you make money? The nice thing, viewers, is that all this, when you go online, these questions, the presentations will ask you, and you will respond to them. You will respond to, so that by the time you get in front of the judges, most of the questions will be answered. You know, we've been to events where a person presents and we have no questions. We just have 10s lined from start to finish, 10 over 10, 10 over 10, because they have gone through this in detail. Business model, competition, we spoke about it yesterday. Competitors, we spoke about it. Landscape, you know. Our team, spoken about it today a lot. Go-to-market strategy. What are your marketing channels? How much are you generating? We spoke about it when we were saying what you need to prepare. So now you're putting it into slide format. So you've prepared, putting it into slide format. This one we haven't spoken about, testimonials. Very, very crucial to state to everyone how your product has changed the lives of the people using them. How the chickens, since I started eating fresh chickens, I feel more energetic and healthier instead of eating red meat. Also just customer service testimonials. This is a reliable company. When I order, they supply within a very short space of time. Fresh, clean, yeah, all those testimonials are very important in your pitch as well. And then obviously the product and the call to action. And then you just thank everybody. You remember one of the 15 most powerful words that you could ever use in a pitch is welcome and thank you. And as I am about to say my thank yous to you, it's been a fantastic 48 hours, 2 days. We've gone through the business plan, we've gone through ideation, we've gone through implementing a business, starting a business, implementing it. Today, we went into the crux of the matter. How do you persuade, how do you sell your business to potential funders, financial institutions? More Youth Enterprise Revolving Fund, they also require pitches to be convinced of your business. You have heard in detail what your pitch has to have. You've heard in detail what kind of questions are usually asked by investors and what sort of responses you can have. You've heard from different videos about how things go in terms of when you are in front of a pitch. And most importantly, my most favorite is this one. You have heard the TOPS model, the 6 steps to persuade a potential investor. The first being tune in, be in line with your environment. The second being have a good team when you go out to present, like the JA students normally have. CEO, Chief Financial Officer, Operations Manager, and the Marketing Manager. We've heard about the third one is optimism. Be sure, have in your mind that you're going to win this pitch. Be optimistic. Presence. Make sure that when you enter that room, you are confident of sealing the deal, closing the sale, convincing people, because it's not what you say, but how you say it. Speak with passion. And then also purpose. Make sure that whoever is listening to your product knows that it's more about helping people than it is about you making money. And last but not least, tell a story, share testimonials, and make the people convinced that this is a people-centric product that will invoke emotions to the investors. Ladies and gentlemen, that is where we end for this period of the Junior Achievement online sessions. From tomorrow, Junior Achievement Eswatini will be going around the country doing various activations in terms of just listening to young people, their pitches. This will be seeing live from Manzini tomorrow. And then we'll also be traveling to Lubombo, we'll be traveling to Pigs Peak. Pigs Peak, it should be Friday, 9:30. And Wednesday, it's Wednesday being tomorrow, it's just here in Manzini. And on the other week, it's Shiselweni and Lubombo. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Natikule, Junior Achievement Eswatini Out of School Mentor. Special thanks to MTN Eswatini for providing this platform for growth. Biggest thanks to you for tuning in and edifying yourself, and also being such an interactive crowd on the comment section. Once I've logged off, I'll still continue to respond to questions on the comment section. If you need assistance, support, help, email info@jaeswatini.org or call 2545-6544, 2545-6544, or 2545-8259, 2545-8259. Ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic week. Keep following the Junior Achievement Eswatini page, and of course MTN Eswatini as they go around with their entrepreneurship aspirations to help young people. Siyabonga and have a fantastic day.